This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning once again. We have started types of testing where we discussed what is manual and automation testing and also methods of testing. What is difference between black box, white box and gray box testings. Any questions from previous class? No? Okay. So today we will discuss levels of testing. Levels of testing is actually based on the types of requirements which you are doing or you're validating. They are mainly categorized as two types. Okay, the types of requirements. Okay, let me write that based on the types of requirements being validated, the levels of testing, otherwise the testing type which will be performed in the each stage of the application development are categorized as mainly two types. What are those two types? Yesterday someone said, those are in the previous class someone said, that is functional testing and non-functional testing. What is functional, non-functional? Anyone? So to know this one, first of all, we need to know this is functional testing, non-functional testing, fine. Before this even, you need to understand what are the types of requirements we have. Okay, so the types of requirements, why they are called, some of them as called as functional requirements and some of them as non-functional requirements, we need to know. Types of requirements are mainly categorized as two types. They are mainly categorized as functional requirements, and non-functional requirements. So which requirements talks about, now if you take any application, if you take this Gmail application, second, if you take this Gmail application, what are the functionalities of the application? If I ask, you will talk about the requirements or features provided by this application. So what are those functional uses of these applications, this application? Anyone? What are the functionalities of the application, this application, Gmail application?
Sending mails.
Okay, okay, you will be able to compose and send a mail. What else?
Mail.
You can read the received mails, you can reply to the mails, you can delete the mail, you can move it to separate folder, or you can mark it as important, you can mark it, you can select and archive. Okay,
Mm.
you can do a lot of things. Okay, so you can see, you can talk about this pagination, and you can see this, you can refresh and load the things again. Okay, you can even chat with the friends with the with you, using this hangouts. Like this, there are a lot of free features in the application. So whatever which I mentioned now, whichever I listed now, just now, all are functionalities of the application which are asked by the customer those are functional requirements. Okay, so the requirements which talks about the functionalities or features of the application are called as non-functional requirements. Okay, functional requirements. What are those things? Examples, if you take Gmail application, what are those functionalities? uh, Ability to compose and send emails, ability to read the received mails. Okay, like this. Even ability to delete the received mails, etc. These kind of things are talking about functionalities. So these kind of requirements, whenever you are mostly in the application development, team will be focusing on this functionality testing only. So you as a manual tester, when you join an organization, any project as a tester, you will be called as functional tester. Okay, so you as a manual tester or automation tester, whatever you have joined, either with the Selenium automation or with manual testing, you are called as functional tester. What does it mean? You will be testing only the majority of your time you will be spent on functionalities of the application will be validated. That's why you are called as functional tester. So you will be doing functional testing. So I say now functional requirements if you are validating. So then I say the validating, checking, otherwise validating whether the functional requirements of the application are satisfied or not is called as what? Functional testing. So just now I explained what are the functional requirements. If you are testing such functional requirements after developer completes the development, once it comes to testing for validation, you will be checking all the cases for each feature. Compose and send an email will be having so many other requirements as well. Okay, all those things, if they are developed, then you will be validating whether they are working as per the expectation or not. That is nothing but functional testing. But in this product development, it will be done. See, compose and send an email itself is a huge requirement. Itself will take a lot of time. Okay, so it will be split into further split into so many small requirements. Okay, what are those requirements? Ability to insert the images while composing an email, ability to add attachments while composing an email, ability to insert link from Google Drive while composing an email. Okay, so ability to format the text and format or design the text while composing an email. This kind of so many other small requirements are there within the compose window, which I am talking about. These are all the options. And also if you see here, these are all so many spelling checks you can do, full screen, or feedback and delete. While composing itself you can delete, and whether it is saving in the draft or not. When you are typing, if at all by mistake got closed, it should be saved in drafts. All that, those are all different features are there for this compose itself. So when you are testing, you will be called and which at each stage, if your small requirement is developed, what type of testing at each level of the application development you will be doing different functional testing type. Those are listed as like this. Types are unit testing, integration testing, and system testing you'll be doing. And at the end normally every time once you develop and test it, and once we get the confidence on the quality of the developed requirements, what we do, what we do respond please, all of you. It's not
Deliver
your
the product.
call. Yeah, you will deliver the product to whom? Client, right? So after
Customer,
that, what
customer.
they do? Yeah,
UAT
to
testing.
to, to the to the business, what they do? Yeah, UAT. You said just in that what is the word I can use? Acceptance.
You
You will be doing, right? So that is acceptance testing. It will get into in that level. Okay. So this is the different level of the application, different types of testing you will be doing. At the each stage of the application development, you will be doing this type of, you means I'm not talking who is testing, it's anyone, customer or you or someone will be testing. So that's this is a level of test in the functional testing types. So coming back to the types of requirements again, non-functional requirements. What are these non-functional requirements? Can anyone tell? Non-functional requirements. The requirements, these are the requirements you will be able to test to some extent only, but these are very much important to elevate the features which you develop. Okay, whatever features we are developing for an application, to elevate that feature, to give more beauty to that feature, non-functional requirements of this, although of those each functionality must be satisfied. Okay, the requirements which talk about the performance or performance, usability, security, portability, etc. are called as non-functional requirements. Understand what are those things? Now when a requirement is functional requirement, just now I mentioned here, ability to compose and send an email. For this mail, for this functional requirement, what will be the implicit for non-functional requirement customer may tell, or if they are not mentioning also, it's our minimum responsibility to do to satisfy the non-functional things as aspects as well for the requirements. For this requirement, what is that non-functional requirement is email must be sent and the recipient must be receiving this mail within 2 seconds. Within 2 seconds. That's a performance aspect. And again, user must be able to, third party person should not be able to read my mail, hack my mail, and should not be able to read the content of my mail, should not be hacked. What is that? That's a security requirement. Understand? So like that, there will be some non-functional requirements also for every functionality that must be satisfied. And again, for overall requirements, for overall application, what customer business will tell, my application, it's a web application, it should be accessed from different countries, different operating systems, different browsers, especially it's a web application, you need to talk about browsers. It should be supporting different browsers. What does it mean? Portability. How easily you can access the application from different working environments. For a web application, environment is nothing but browser. For desktop application, environment is nothing but for desktop application. When I say portability, it should be accessed from different working environments. For desktop application, what is that environment is?
Operating system.
Operating system. Very good, Vikas. Operating system. Because desktop applications will be installed in your computer, right? So it should be supporting different operating systems. That's what the requirement customer may ask for. Okay, that's the portability requirement. It's a non-functional thing. Security. Every application, if at all financial matters or any personal information being shared by application, definitely business will definitely ask for security. Okay, so you need to as a manual tester, how much you can do this. You can check the portability, you can check the usability. What is this usability? It's an implicit requirement for everything. It's need not to mention explicitly. Usability is nothing but uses of the application. You should not think like that. Usability is not talking about uses of the application. Uses means here I'm able to send mail, I'm able to read mail, I'm able to send attachments, I'm able to send a short video to my friend. These are all not uses of the usability of the application. It's not talking about that. Those are all features. Usability is nothing but how easily I can access it. I'm able to understand it or not. If at all, if I'm clicking on compose, if you ask me, unless instead of showing this window, do you want to compose a mail? If you ask me confirmation, if I click on yes, then only you are showing this window. Do you think it's required? If I click on it, instead of showing this window, it is asking a confirmation. Do you want to compose a mail? Do you want to send a mail? Like that it is asking. If I say no, it is not showing this one. If I say yes, it is showing this window. It's unnecessary confirmation, right? If I'm clicking explicitly this button, the main purpose is to send a mail only. Why are you asking me again additional confirmation? It's going to irritate the business, irritate the users. So that kind of aspects you need to check in the usability. How easily user is able to access and understand the application. So here compose is the label you have used. Instead of that, let's go, you mentioned. Let's go. What does it mean? Let's go means you are thinking too much different and you are putting the labels like that. But if for me as a common user, I may not understand why they mention let's go. Let me check what is there inside. But just by seeing this compose, you are able to figure out, right? Okay, this is an option for composing an email, because clearly it is in the icon also is telling adding an email plus and compose. The text also is very clear to me, meaningful text it is telling composing something. So this is the option might be to send an email. Easily any user can figure it out. If you put some different label here, people cannot understand. So that's the how easily you are able to navigate through the screens, how easily able to understand the labels. Whatever icons or pictures or labels you have, figures you have used here must be meaningful. Okay, so here if you see Hangouts icon is this. Okay, if they send, if they give this kind of button here for the charts, it's not meaningful. It's see this everywhere in the world, this icon, that white color background is there, no, that is the icon for messages in the world, throughout the world. So that's such kind of global labels will be there. You need to validate that kind of things as well in the usability. Okay, so this like that the requirements which talk about performance or usability or security or portability of the application are nothing but non-functional requirements. Understand? So now coming to this non-functional testing, what I can say, the validating whether the non-functional requirements of the application are satisfied or not for every functional requirement, for every functional requirement. Why I'm writing this one? Functional, non-functional things are will be associated along with the functionalities. So you are all the non-functional requirements of an application are satisfied or not for every functional requirement. When you are validating, you need to check these non-functional things as well. That is nothing but non-functional testing. What are those types? As I just mentioned, the types of non-functional requirements, they are performance testing is a very important thing. After that, security testing, and then usability testing, and then portability testing. So portability, I need not to tell much about these things: security, portability, usability, all these things which I just mentioned. Here I can list out quickly. Checking the user friendliness of the application. User friendliness of the application. What is that user friendliness? Is nothing but in terms of the application, in terms of easy navigation, easy navigation, and better UI, better user interface, meaningful labels, meaningful labels for better understandings. So these are all usability point of view. You as a manual tester, and whenever you are checking any functional requirement, you need to definitely validate these usability aspects. Understand? So portability, what I just mentioned, checking whether the application can be accessed from different working environments. What are the examples? Supporting different operating systems for desktop applications. Again, supporting different browsers for web applications. What is this called? This is called supporting different, especially this is having separate type of testing, that is browser compatibility testing. So this portability testing is also called as compatibility testing. Okay. And security, it's a, there will be specialized security testers. Okay, you as a manual tester, you can do only to some extent. If the application Gmail or Facebook or any banking applications are being developed, there will be specialized security testers. Someone has unmuted, please mute. Srinu, please mute your mic, and Suresh as well. Security, checking the security levels of the Otherwise, you can say validating the security levels of the application in terms of unauthorized access, information security, etc. is called as security testing. So there will be specialized testers. There will be specialized security testers who use different tools to perform the thorough security testing on the application. Okay, so you will be there some these kind of banking applications or Facebook, Gmail kind of social networking websites will hire some ethical hackers as well. What is the job of ethical hackers?
Need to test whether the security is working or not, and they has to do that testing also. Means like if their website is hacking or there's any bugs within the website, which is
Correct. You can say they find the loopholes in the application. Is there any loopholes in in the application to access the to give access or to hack the application? The hackers will find out those loopholes and inform to the developers to block those loopholes. How can you block? That developers will decide. So hackers job is to indicate this is how I can hack, so block this way. Okay, like that they may hire some special ethical hackers also for this kind of prestigious social networking websites or web banking sites or any healthcare company, health records of the employee, people being maintained in application, that such applications. Okay, government websites, all those things will be special security testers will be there to do that security testing. Okay, and when you talk performance testing, what you will do, performance checking, validating how speed the application is performing is is called as performance testing. I am telling here in which conditions, how speed it is currently performing in various conditions. What are those various conditions we will discuss? It's called as performance testing. When the performance of the application may go down, different conditions are there. When huge number of people, when more number of people are accessing the application, then load on the application server will become more. Then you do load testing. When huge amount of data is getting transferred, all the users of the application are transferring the data like files, attachments, images, like that files are being shared, then it will increase the what, data volume. So you will do volume testing. And when you are when there is some required setup for the application like database setup, RAM, ROM, all these things, so required setup is will be there for every software, right? When there are such required setup is not there, when one of the required resource is not there, how application is performing, then that is done as part of stress testing. Okay, so load testing, volume testing, stress testing, these are all performance testing type only. You will be validating the performance of the application in various conditions. So what are those things? Load testing is checking the performance of the application when more number of users are accessing the application. Volume testing, checking the performance of the application when the huge amount
Page
of
number.
data is getting transferred. Suresh, please mute your mic. Okay, Suresh.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You are saying yes and you are not muting. I will mute it. Okay, checking the performance of the application when huge amount of data transfer. Is this one when any one of the required resource is not there? Checking the performance of the application when any of the required setup, required resource is not available for the application. Okay, now whenever a software is released, they will tell, right, it should minimum 2 GB RAM should be there and 5 GB free space should be there in your hard disk. Then only you can install this application, and it supports only Windows 10 onwards. It will work, not before Windows version. Like that, they will give, right, some specifications, so prerequisites. So all those things are how they found by doing this stress testing. And also they are measuring every time when you are, so now when you are searching, now here, see here, I want to search how many mails I have received from ICICI Bank. Okay, so I want to see the ICICI Bank mails. I'm clicking searching, it's loading, it is telling some process is happening. If you don't show, this is also one of the usability. Okay, if that loading text is not shown, what you will be thinking for these 3 seconds? It's working or not? It's not responding, you will be thinking, correct? So that is one of the usability. Okay, you need to check about that as well as part of usability testing. If such indications are not shown for 2-3 seconds when their data is loading, you need to tell to business analyst it's not clear what is happening for 2-3 seconds. No one will get to know. So it's better to show like this text are kind of circle spinning here. Okay, so such indications must be there, like that you can tell as part of usability as a manual tester. And now see, when I search, this data is loaded. How much time it has taken? Max to max 2 seconds, correct? I might be having some 20 plus thousands of mails are there in my list. It is checking all the things and filtering out which are received from bank. Two texts are there, ICICI Bank. Whichever I received from bank, I got all the mails. Okay, so to filter out and load this one, it has taken only 2 seconds. It's a data is being loaded. When this much data is loading, how much time it is taking? That's also you need to check as part of performance. This level you can do in as a manual tester as well. If you need to do when more number of users, a business said at a time 1 lakh 1 lakh people can use my application with the same speed, like that they mentioned. But 1 lakh users as a manual tester, how can you produce? It's difficult, right? So that's why there will be specialized automation testers. There will be specialized performance testers who use different automation tools to validate the performance of the application in various conditions. Okay, manual tester can validate because why you are hiring, because the manual tester can validate the performance of the application only to some extent, but not fully. Okay, that's why you are hiring specialized automation testers for performance testing. What are those tools?
Selenium.
No, Selenium is not helpful for performance. Tools used by
Load runner.
automation, load runners. Performance testers are load runner, JMeter, etc. Like this. These are two very popular performance tools. There are many other as well in the market, but these two are very, very popular. So one important thing what you need to remember is you are not supposed to choose performance testing alone as your career. It's a very good field, but why I'm telling this statement, because a performance testing will not be done from the beginning of the application development. When application reaches to a certain level, before we finalize the actual release of the application, means when application minimum viable product, when it is done, then they do the uh, performance testing. Not from the day one or every feature you will do the performance testing by the specialized performance testers. No. So then job openings will be very less, and also one guy will be hired and used in multiple projects, because as I mentioned, performance testing will not be done every day by every day-to-day development of every requirement. You will not be doing by the performance testers. It will be done by manual testers for time being, and at the end, one automation tester will fully do the performance testing. Okay, so using the special tools who has knowledge on these tools, so you can add this, learn this, or you can keep it as an additional skill, but it cannot be used as only skill. Okay, there are many performance testers who know only performance and they are surviving. You can also survive for some time, but competition, when you want to switch organization, it will be bit less openings compared to other automation. Okay, clear? Okay, so this is about non-functional testing. Any questions before I move back to functional testing?
What is spike testing, sir?
No, sir.
What is?
Spike testing.
That is about again performance only. Okay, so it will be like this. So don't think whatever I explained here, these are all only the performance testing aspects. No, there are many other which we will be discussing as part of other types of testing in the next class. Okay, which are not classified under this definite and this in this classification, because they will be one or the other way fitting into either performance testing or security testing or usability or portability. That's why there are only very limited performance testing types are classified. Remaining all whatever you name it will be falling under one of these things, one or the other way. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
like this pilot testing, sorry, not pilot, soak testing is there, and endurance testing is there. Like that, these are all performance related. Okay, understand? So performance will be measured in different conditions. Soak testing is what, if you maintain this much of load on the application, you are checking the performance, but how long it is able to sustain this much load. Okay, keeping the same a huge amount of load on the application for long run and making the sustainability of the application is nothing but soak testing or endurance testing. Okay, so like this, different names are there and different types of testings are there. I will explain in the next class, and also I will share a separate file to your mail IDs. Still you are not receiving mails from my end because institute will be confirming all your admission with the with this course. So once you confirm quickly, and you'll be getting all the recordings and class notes from the institute, okay, by sometime. Okay, so please do confirm with the institute. Okay, any other questions? Non-functional. Okay, so moving on. So as I mentioned, the name itself is telling levels of testing at the each stage of the, what is that, Aman? What do you mean? Why can't you teach according to the syllabus in the sense? I will teach as per my flow. Okay, please go through that. If you have find any topic is missed in the syllabus, you can ask me. If you are not able to follow this one, I will tell very rude statement, you can disconnect and go to another one. Okay, understand, Aman? I will go in my way. If you feel in the content something is not teached, something is not taught, you can ask me. I will cover that topic, but flow is my own. Okay, I'm not going to follow that. Okay, so coming back to this functional testing, unit testing, integration. Yeah, notes will be sent. As I said, you need to confirm, you need to take the admission with the institute and confirm with them as soon as possible, and institute management will be sending the notes and recordings to you. Okay, please do that. Yes, Baba, it is a 4th class. Please do confirm with the institute and ask institute, and you can note down my number as well. If you have any questions, you can talk, and you will be having institute number as well. You can talk with them as well. 8123429214. Okay, my name is Karthik. If you have any personal questions, or you want to clarify, or you want to get something else, any other questions you want to clarify, you can talk to me, or you can WhatsApp me on this number. This is my same WhatsApp number as well. Okay, but to get the notes and recordings, I don't have your email IDs. It's with the institute, and because you once we get the confirmation for all of you, they will send the notes and recordings to you. Please do confirm as soon as possible. Okay, you note down this number, and if you have confirmed, please let me know. I will note it down. Okay,
Sir, please repeat your contact number, sir.
it is here 81234
8123
2921 81234 29214.
29214, right?
Okay. Hello. Hello, I lost the connection for a while. You can even talk to institute people. Understand? So first speak to them, and if you are not able to reach them, then you can contact me. Okay. Fine. Coming to this functional testing, unit testing, as I said, the levels of testing at the each stage of the application, you'll do different type of testing, I said, right? So that levels of testing is functional. The small requirement is developed. It is a small tiny unit of the application. You will be doing at that stage unit testing, validating a small tiny or small unit or part of the application. Part of the application is, otherwise you can consider as a tiny part, a small requirement or part of the application is called as unit. Okay, a small requirement or part of the application is called as unit. If you are validating the functionalities of that small unit, validating the functionalities of that small unit is called as unit testing. But one thing we need to remember here when we talk about unit testing, though it is a small requirement you are validating, though textbook is suggesting, by definition is telling to us that's called as unit testing, in real time we don't call as a manual tester or automation tester, what when you are testing a small requirement or two requirements or three requirements or a one module, if you are testing also, we are not going to call it as unit testing or something. We in general we call it as integration testing only. Okay, because one requirement will be developed and integrated with the already existing requirements. Again, another feature will be developed and integrated with the already existing features. Like that, development will be going step by step. Understand? So development will be going step by step, and then new features will be developed and integrated. So when one new feature is integrated with the existing feature, you need to make sure that integrated units are working properly or not after integration, that you need to validate. So in the product life cycle, in the project, once you join, if it is 3 years of project or 2 years of project, then throughout the product life cycle they will be testing what, they will be doing integration testing only. At the till you develop the full product, till team develops the full product, you will be doing integration testing only. Okay, so that's why we don't use this term from testing perspective, but you need to, as I mentioned, when I was explaining white box testing, unit testing is a unit testing will be mostly done by whom? By
Developer.
developers
Developer.
as part of their coding. Unit testing will be mostly done by the developers as part of their coding standards. Okay, understand? So that's why we though you are testing one small requirement which is developed by the developer, we will be not calling it as unit testing, we call it as integration testing only. Okay, you will be thinking this is a small requirement I am telling, like one compose is one module right here in the Gmail. Compose is one module. Like that, there are so many small requirements here, all the related small requirements together integrated here. This is integrated with compose only, right? Attachments, formatting, links and emojis, drive, adding the files and inserting images, and this is snoozing or again inserting signature. All these things are different features, different small requirements, but all are integrated to one major requirement, that is compose feature. So such kind of related combination of related small units are called as component. Okay, so testing, validating the features of that whole component is called component testing or module testing, which is called as. Okay, combination of integrated part of the integrated part of the related tiny units are called as is called as component or module. Validating the features of the component is called as component test. Okay, understand? So this is also another, it is not there as part of classification, but it is one of the term. It may be asked in interview, but again, as I mentioned, if you are validating the features of a module in our real time, we call it as we do as part of integration testing itself, but we don't name it separately. I'm doing module testing like that. We don't talk. We do integration testing only as part of functional testing. You say in general as an high level, if you are talking, I'm doing functional testing, I'm validating that specific modules functionalities, like that you can tell, but you don't use this word. You will not be using these words like module testing, I am doing component testing, like that you will not use. But these are terminologies which are there, which will be asked in interview as well. Okay, so you need to remember, but as part of real time testing, you will be validating this module also as part of what, in the integration testing. Okay, fine. That's all about unit testing. When I say integration, as I just mentioned, when two or more such units, it can be big module or some small units, which are once two or more units are integrated together. Integrated, that means what? If I am telling unit means it's not a box, one small two pieces I am taking and adding. It's not like that, right? It's code. When two developers code is merged, two different requirements related code is merged. Okay, that is means merged means when it is integrated, when two or more units are integrated together, tester needs to validate the independent and also the dependent features of the application. Okay, when two or more units are integrated together, tester needs to validate the independent and also the dependent features of the application are satisfied or not. Independent dependent features of the, instead of telling application, independent and dependent features of the integrated units, all the integrated units. Okay, this is called integration testing. What does it mean? What I am trying to say here, if you take now compose as a one module and send is another module, trash is another module, okay, inbox is another module. What is the dependency of each module on one on the each module from another module? What is the dependency? If I click on compose and send, where it will go? And draft as well, draft also is another module. If I click on compose, instead of sending, I closed it, I clicked on it, I composed some mail and I closed it, where it will go? Instead of sending, it will go and sit in the drafts.
Draft.
This is another module. There is some relationship, right, in this one. Then and in the compose is having its own features. What are those things? Adding attachments, adding, inserting emojis, these are all its independent features of the compose module. Draft is also having their own features. Means what? Whatever mails are saved in the draft, I can open it and send it again. I can uh, delete it from here. I can re-edit the details in the draft mail, or I can archive these folders as well, these mails as well. Lot of features are there. Okay, I can filter out these mails which are having the attachments. All those things I can do. Those are all independent features of draft. But dependency is what? To see some mail here, you need to compose, and without sending, instead of sending, you need to save and close. Then it will appear in the draft. Automatic save will happen. You need not to save explicitly. It will be, once you compose, instead of sending, if you close it, it will appear in the draft. Other than that, you cannot. Can you create one draft mail here instead of using compose? Somehow can you create here one draft mail? You can say like, I will reply to the mail. That is also draft. Reply is also nothing but composing only. Okay, so it is the dependency. So like that, whatever I am telling here, when two or more units are integrated together, tester needs to check the independent features of each module, and also the dependent features of the all the integrated modules. You need to test all are working or not. Okay, that's the integration testing. Understand, all of you? Any questions on this? So here you will be depending on the, yes, go on. Someone was asking question. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay,
Sir, this
fine.
integration testing is done by the developer or a tester, sir?
No, tester, it will be done by tester. Okay, integration and code integration will be merging of the code, that and all will be done by developer only. Validation we need to do once it is merged and given latest code is pushed to testing environment. Our job is to validate after merging all these features, they are still working or not. And dependency, data flow between two modules is happening properly. This is the data flow, right? Once I compose, and instead of sending, if I close, the data whatever I composed, it is saving into the another module, that is drafts. So the data flow between the major, the data flow between two modules is happening between the modules. I can say, instead of two, many modules will be there, right? Between the modules is happening properly or not. We can, the data flow between the modules is happening properly or not, we need to validate. Okay, so here two things you need to understand. Depending on the, there will be development approaches decided by the management, project management. That is, we will develop one big unit at a time, at one shot, or we will develop small unit and integrate one after another. That will be decided by the organization. If they decide, project management, instead of telling organization, project management will decide. what if they decide to develop one big unit, one big module or very big requirement one shot instead of splitting it into small, then what does that mean? It's a top-down integration approach. Top-down integration approach. If they decide to develop small parts, one after another, small parts and integrate together, then that is called bottom-up integration approach. Okay, bottom-up integration approach. So depending on this approach, either sometimes they may follow, they may not stick to one of it, they may, depending on the situation, they may follow either top down or bottom up. In that case, that is called hybrid approach. Okay, so when they decide what type of approach they are following, depending on that, your way of testing also you will be doing. If team is developing a big unit one shot, you need to test that big unit as a whole. Okay, where you need to test lot of features at a time. Okay, top down integration approach. But bottom up integration approach, if they follow small unit they develop and give it to the testing, you will test only the features of that small unit. Okay, so that is here top down integration approach. You need to, when a develop a major unit will be major big unit will be validated at a time, and then lastly, and then the small units will be tested in this approach. But here small units are tested, I can say in simple words here, it's big to small, and this one is small to big. Features wise, and you say when one big, very big requirement are developed in one shot without splitting them into small requirements, then it will be top down integration approach they follow. If they decided to go small requirements development one after another and integrate together, then it is small units are tested first and then the big units. Okay, it's not about test. I am talking, since we are testers, we are talking in testing terms. It's not only this approach is not for testing actually, it's for development. So based on the development, what they develop, we will be testing that. Okay, so that's why here I am not talking about mentioning about developers. I am talking only about testers here. So when a small unit is developed by the developer and given to the testing, you will be testing only that small unit. So depending on which approach development team follow, you will be testing the either major units or small units one after another. Which one is better approach in your point of view, if you understand correctly? Dharmendra, what topic is going on? What you are asking? SQL will be started at the end. Okay, once we are done with manual.
Bottom up integration, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Why Lakshman? Kalyan is saying
Because
top
as
down. Okay.
We are testing from the small piece of the software, like easily we can understand that one from beginning.
Yes, that's the major thing. Your focus analyzing on the small requirements is very easy. So Kalyan, it's when a very big unit is given to you for validation, you need to put lot of effort to means it's, you may miss some things. Analysis is very bit difficult. Okay, so if you give small units, it's bet you can analyze better and you can test it better way. So quality of the application will be more better. I'm not saying like you don't analyze here better. You will do analysis, but when you test one big unit, you chances are there you may miss something. Okay, so that's why it's better always to follow bottom up integration approach. It's developing small units and integrating with the already existing units. That's a better way. But It is again depending on the project timelines, how quick they need to complete the development. Depending on the timelines, they may decide on either of these approaches. Okay, here in this way you will be doing integration testing itself for the full, until the full product is developed, all the requirements of the application is developed. Okay, once all the requirements are developed means what does it mean? Whole system is ready, whole application is ready. At that stage, at that level of the application, what type of testing you'll do? You'll do system testing. Okay, once all the modules of the application, all the module or requirements of the, all the modules or requirements of the application are developed and integrated together, testers need to perform end-to-end testing. Okay, end-to-end testing. What does it mean? To validate the full flows of the application features, full flow of the application features. What is full flow? How it is connected, all the interconnecting modules, the full functionalities will be there, right? Once I compose and send an email, it will be inbox. Once I delete from there, it will go to trash. From trash I can move it back to again inbox, or I can delete from there also. So that such kind of full flows will be there, right? Full functionalities. Once all the modules are developed and integrated, then only you can check, right? So such kind of, we are checking the full flows connecting of the application, full flows of the application that connects the two or more modules will be validated. So this will be done only when system is ready. Okay, application comes to a certain level, minimum viable product is developed, then only you go get into system testing. So that means this will be, once this is the testing will be, this is the testing done at the end of the application development. Okay, clear for everyone? Okay, next, acceptance testing. Once all this either small requirements, whatever you developed, depending on the development model which you are following, either you do intermediate releases or you do full product release to the customer, right? Once it is released to the customer, delivered to the customer, what testing they do? User acceptance testing they do, right? That is nothing but acceptance testing. Here it is another 5 minutes, we'll close the class for today. So acceptance testing is, once the application is released to the business people or client, they test and provide the, they test the application features and provide the feedback to the vendor. This is as part of, they test the application features in their environment. What is that environment? Is in their environment. What is that environment? Is UAT environment, UAT testing. So if the other client is also a software company, what they do, instead of asking business people to test, they may form one testing team. Like that 2-3 people they may hire and keep only for testing. Since they don't have enough resources to develop the product their own, that's why they might have given to another company. Once that product is tested and delivered by vendor to the client, if the client is also a software company, then what they do, they form a testing team, UAT team. Okay, so you may get chance to be as part of this UAT testing team as well, if such companies are doing such kind of testing at the acceptance testing level. Okay, so you will be playing the role of client in that testing. Okay, so that is also, you may join client company as well as a tester in this UAT testing when the client is not a, when the client is also a software company. If client is SBI, or if client is Redbus, or if client is something else, some non-software companies, then they have to, they will do business people who are kind of SMEs, or who are subject matter experts, or it can be some kind of business analyst only from the business side. Those people will be accessing the application and test those features and give the feedback to them. Test means they don't test if the business is doing, they don't test the application like us. If they form a dedicated testing team, they do the testing similar to that to us. But if they are business people are accessing the application and testing, they don't follow our testing methods and all. They just simply use the feature and they are happy with that or not, they've shared the feedback to the vendor. That's it. So this also may happen different levels, that is alpha testing, beta testing. So as I mentioned already, when I was explaining types of environment, so it is in their environment, in their environment, I said right here, I'm removing this UAT word because it is, this testing will be done by this acceptance testing will be done by the business people, business or identified set of people, I will write here. The acceptance testing will be done by the business in UAT environment. This is alpha testing. Okay, this one beta testing, can anyone guess what I said after UAT testing when I was explaining types of environments? It will be given to some pre-production kind of environment. I said right, staging environment. Before releasing the product to the live environment, they may give the, this is at this stage, this will be done by identified set of people from real time. Otherwise you can say the application will be delivered to the identified set of people from real time for their usage and to get the feedback. Okay, this will happen when, this will happen, this testing will happen after UAT and before going for the production environment, going to the production, before going to the production. Clear, all of you?
Sir, what is UAT means?
Are you not part of the types of environments files? We discussed about types of environment, user acceptance testing environment, UAT environment. This is nothing but user acceptance. Business people are testing and giving the acceptance for the features. Okay. Types of environments, class I explained. Okay, so these are the level types of testings. Until here only the classification, actual classification is, but there are so many other types of testings as well, which we will be using in the real time, those terms, and also will be asked in the interview. So we'll discuss those things tomorrow. Okay, in our next class, those are other types of testings. Okay. Any questions before we close the session for today?